because there's delay.
What if there was a podcast where one NFL legend talked about football? What about two NFL legends, huh? What about three? This is Wideout's World, where the gridiron comes alive. NFL legends Fred Barnett, Irving Fryar, and Michael Timpson. Three NFL legends. Breaking down the game from the ultimate insider perspective. Game recaps, upcoming previews, and exclusive analysis straight from the minds of those who've been in the trenches. Wideout's World. Let's do it.
Are you ready for some football?
We're ready for some football, baby.
We're ready for some football, baby. We are back. It is Wednesday. It is 7 p.m. And this is WOW. W-O-W, Wide Out's World. It's me, Irving Fryar, and these are my two co-hosts, Fred Barnett and Michael Timpson over there. We are in the house again. Yeah. You know what? I thought about, because I saw some other shows doing this. We should have did some like maybe we can do it next week. Our favorites halfway. Our MVPs halfway through the season at this point. Maybe we can do that next week. Like our best team. Our team of the year so far, our offensive player of the year, our defensive player of the year, that kind of thing.
We could do that.
Sounds like plans, Stan.
Yeah, we do that maybe next week. So all is well with you guys? You doing okay?
All is well.
You holding it together? Billy Bell is in the house already. Listen, we got a bunch of folk. Wow, I didn't even look at the number. We got a bunch of folk watching right now. Please acknowledge yourself. Let us know you're in the house. We always enjoy your company, and we appreciate you. Listen, if you're on Facebook watching right now, please go to YouTube. What was that?
I don't know.
That was me.
That was Fred messing around. He turned on he's watching it on his phone and turned the volume up, and that's why we got some kickback.
You don't know what I did.
I know exactly what you did. So I'm the engineer around here, around these pots. So if you're watching us on Facebook, my Facebook page or on Fred's Facebook page, please go to YouTube and search for Wideout's World and subscribe. We sure would appreciate it. Sure appreciate it.
Sure will.
Angelo Ortiz in the house. Good to see you, bro. Good to see you. Shout out to you. So listen, we're going to start out today, as we always do, with our favorite. We changed it up last week. It's our favorite wideout of the week. The wideout of the week. So, Mike, we're going to start with you. Who's your wideout of the week, the wide receiver of the week?
Come on, Mike.
All right. I thought it
They're not a tight end. Not a tight end this week.
It's not a tight end this week.
Okay.
It is not a tight end this week. My wide receiver of the week is from the Baltimore Ravens, Zay Flowers. This is a second-year player out of Boston College, 5'9", scat back kind of guy. The thing that I like about him most is he's durable. He's durable. They put him in the backfield. They use him almost like Deebo Samuels. But this guy, last week, he had 5 catches for 127 yards, 25 yards a catch, 2 touchdowns. He had a long one of 53 yards. His last 5 games, he has been over 100 yards 4 of those games. He is the tool for Jackson, and he's getting it done. So I really liked him, and he stood out to me this week because he's used a lot. They're depending on him. He's their number 1 receiver, and he's getting it done. I mean, he's always making positive plays, full of life and energy. And so I like him because the thing that with him and Jackson, they're living, and he just seems to be on page with him, and he just gets open. And so I like him as a young receiver out of Boston College, of all places. But Zay Flowers is my wide receiver of the week.
Every time I watch him, like every time I see him playing, I get happy. I feel good because, like you said, he's got positive energy. He's always upbeat and just like a doggone flying around the field. Just he's quicker than everybody else, faster than everybody else. Yeah, he's not large in size, but man, he's got a big heart. It doesn't matter how big the dog in the fight. What matters is how big the fight is in the dog. And Zay Flowers is that cat, man. And like I said last week, Baltimore just looks like they're having fun. They have a ball going on the field. I wouldn't mind playing for them at all. What about you, Fred? Who's your receiver of the week?
The thing about Zay Flowers, when's the last time you heard of a receiver come from Boston College?
There you go. Yeah.
It's been on. I can't even remember one.
I remember a lineman. I remember a quarterback. Not a receiver. Yeah, you're right.
Not a receiver. But my guy actually wasn't really in the top 5. I think he was like 7 or 8. I really admire this guy. And the one reason I really admire him because I feel that this sense of just him being comfortable, although he got this star receiver in, and this guy is Garrett Wilson. Wilson had 9 catches, 90 yards, and had 2 touchdowns. He had a dynamic catch.
Crazy catch.
Unbelievable. One-hand catch.
He had a one-hand catch right before that, too. He had a one-handed catch before that.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about it, he was the number 1 guy before
Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams got there. These names, you get me, boy. Before Devontae Adams got there, and as soon as they signed Devontae Adams, the first thing came to my mind was like, and I think I even mentioned it on the show, that's about 50, 60 catches now that he's not going to have, about 500 yards that he's not going to have.
Right.
And I think sometimes when you're the number 1 guy and you're not really a veteran, and they bring a veteran in, and everybody knows that Devontae Adams was the number 1 guy, and you kind of get this, okay, let me sit in the back seat. I don't think Garrett did that at all. He was like he just kept his head up, and he's playing just as dynamic as he was before Devontae Adams got there. His longest catch was 26 yards, but he still at this point looks like could possibly be there. His Rodgers' number 1 target, along with Devontae Adams being there, and I think he just did a great job and came up with, as you mentioned, some great dynamic catches, and he's gonna maybe the Jets to turn it around. I don't know. Maybe Rodgers done made peace with somebody.
Made peace with the Lord.
Maybe Rodgers done made peace with the football gods, but Garrett Wilson did a great job. As I mentioned, 9 catches, 90 yards. Didn't have a whole lot of yards compared to the guys ahead of him, but 2 touchdowns, two and a couple of dynamic catches.
It's something when you were mentioning that, Fred, it came to mind the Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. Devontae Smith was, he come in as a rookie, first-round draft choice, coming out of college, Heisman Trophy winner.
Exactly.
And broke all of the Eagles' rookie records for receiving. And he was the man. He held it down for the Eagles. He was the number 1 guy that year, his rookie year. And then during the offseason, or actually during the draft, then the Eagles acquired A.J. Brown. And Devontae automatically became the second guy. And it's been working. It's been working. It's because guys like Garrett Wilson, guys like Devontae Smith, they're quality people. I'm not going to say quality athletes. We know they're great athletes, but you got to be a quality person to know that there's a bigger picture, there's a bigger goal than just yourself. And to be able to take the role of Robin and having had been already Batman, and now you got to change your cape. That takes some stability of mind. That takes some security in oneself, and it's kind of the same situation. So Garrett Wilson is he's a stellar guy. So with mine, I'm on the opposite side of you, Fred. Mine was Devontae Adams. He's the guy that came in and took over that number 1 spot from the Raiders. And he had 7 catches for 91 yards. He had 11 targets. He had 1 TD, but he had that 37-yard touchdown with just under 3 minutes left in the game to pretty much seal the game for them. But and it took him about 3 games to get going with Aaron Rodgers. And it seems like they're on the same page now. But for me, the reason I chose him this week is because I've never experienced this before. I don't think either one of you have experienced this before, where you've been traded during the season and you have to go into an offensive situation and learn the plays. Not halfway through the season, but you're a third way into the season, and you got to learn a new offensive system in the middle of the season. I've never had to do that before, but he seems to have done it seamlessly. First game that he was in, you could see him looking around a little bit when the plays were called and kind of communicating a little bit more than he usually does. But now he seems to be in the flow with just 3 weeks into it, and he's scoring touchdowns and racking up yards and making a difference in the games for the teams that draft or that traded for him. So hats off to Davante Adams. He was a stellar wide receiver for the Raiders, and now here he is with the Jets making a difference right away. And, he could have fell on his face, them bringing him in and putting him in that number one position and expecting him to be that guy to not only, carry the load as far as receiving the football, but also, be a mentor to Garrett Wilson. And that seems to be happening as well. So he's my receiver of the week. And hopefully it continues to rise for him, excels for him. Surprise of the week. We got a surprise of the week. We're still doing surprise of the week. After the surprise of the week, just so you guys know, after the surprise of the week, we got news of the week. I'm going to call it news of the week. What's going on in the NFL. And then we go for our game of the week, and then we do our predictions at the end. Then we take questions. Ben Strait is in the house. Paul Holtz is in the house. My mother is in the house. She said, hey, my favorite wideouts. Mom said, hey, my favorite wide. Eddie Casper is in the house. Let me see. Y'all see Hurts is 27th in the league in passing. Coaches adjusted and now better and no better than to ask him to pass as much as we. Well, that's straight. You're right, Ben. Yeah, he is. It's not. He's 27th in the league in passing, not because he's not taking care of the ball anymore. He's 27th in the league in passing because we're not passing. The Eagles are not passing the ball as much anymore. They have changed things around since the bye week. They've gone in and examined what was going on in the first 4 weeks, and they've reduced some of Jalen's responsibility and taken away they've taken away the expectation of him going in and being a game changer. All he has to do is go and be a game manager.
But wait a minute now. You saying that with your chest stuck out, like all of a sudden they're going to the Super Bowl. I can feel it.
Super Bowl?
I can feel it. I said like.
Are you clairvoyant or something? You a mind reader or what?
I said like. You making it sound as though they got everything fixed. Because remember what I told you?
I didn't say nothing. I didn't say anything. First, I didn't say anything about Super Bowl. And they don't have everything fixed. You know why? Because they got a broken head coach.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to bring you back down because
they got a broken. He's broken. He's broke.
Okay,
that cat there. I don't know what he was doing Sunday with his calls, his decision making, just off the charts. Just how do you? We don't even want to get into none of that.
Okay,
we got a bunch of people. Hey Ben, hold your question till the end, brother. All right, I'm gonna try to come back to it. Yes.
Let me say this to Ben. I went by his restaurant. It's called La Spadas. And
by Ben's restaurant?
Ben Strait. Remember
Ben Strait, yeah.
A restaurant over in Sanford, which is a little bit away from where I am here in Orlando. Mm-hmm. And I went by. I didn't go in because he's right across the street from a BJ's where I shop. Mm-hmm. And so I saw the restaurant. I saw the cheesesteak. They specialize in cheesesteak. So I'm gonna go by there and get a cheesesteak and take a picture and show you guys La Spada.
Okay, well, you know what, Ben Strait? We need a sponsor. How about that? You go in there with a contract, Mike.
I'm just going to get a sandwich. Man.
We can be straight steaks.
So yeah, I'm coming by there.
Huh?
Yeah.
So Ben, look forward to seeing Mike. Mike, look out for Mike.
Keep
your eyes open. Heads up for Mike.
So
Fred, what is your surprise of the week, man?
Everybody knows that we saw a play this weekend that we're going to be seeing as long as NFL football is around. And I know you guys know what I'm talking about. I saw it live,
Mm-hmm.
and when it happened, a buddy of mine, we were just sitting there, and we both
Well,
just stood up and walked out the room.
wait. Well,
Like,
let's do
how
this just in case somebody who's watching right now, who will be watching, in case you had your
they know
head
what
in
it
the
is.
sand this weekend. Let's
Dude. How's he doing? I mean,
Yeah.
do you
Yeah.
know how long it would take if the NFL right now got all those guys together and said, "Hey, look, we're going to recreate this." Do you know how long it would take them to rehearse that to get that right? And and I know you guys have had,
there it is again.
and this is coming like this way.
Look at that shot, man.
As a
That's good
player,
stuff.
you
Good
have
stuff.
yeah, as a player, you have those moments or have had those games or catches or something you've done, and you just kind of wowed yourself, and it was right there in the moment, and you were right there to make that play, to do that certain thing, that certain move or what have you. But
Mm-hmm.
this guy, that was absolutely amazing. I mean, I even watched a video where it was a sideline video where the players were watching it, and the camera was behind the
Right.
players,
They were freaking out.
and when he did it, everybody just freaked out, man, and just that's my surprise. And the interesting thing about this, Irv, you just mentioned it. The Eagles not really having to throw the ball as much. Man, this guy has been a lifesaver for them. I mean, he's made some detrimental mistakes. We have to take that into account. I mean, at the Atlanta game, I think he missed a pass there. Made
Yeah,
some
but you know
a few
what?
mental busts.
I don't blame that
Go
on
ahead.
him because there were other decisions that were made in that game that they never should have been in that position. Even
Yeah.
that decision to throw that
Mhm.
ball was, I believe, the wrong decision. Yes, he's supposed to catch the ball, and he does catch the
Yeah,
ball
yeah, yeah, yeah,
95%
yeah.
of the time. But remember, he is also a running back. He's not a wide receiver.
True. And here, yeah, I mean, when you look at his game this weekend, 27 carries, 159 yards, had a touchdown rush, and then had caught a touchdown that
Over
few
his shoulder,
Nice.
that was
receivers,
a great
yeah,
catch.
a,
And
lot, a lot
toe
of a lot of
tapped it, yeah.
receivers can't catch that pass, and
Mm-hmm.
in the league with 159 rushes for
Right.
925 yards, 5 yards per carry, 6 touchdowns, 115 yards per game, and he has been exactly what the Eagles wanted. And I'm hoping at some point, of course, that I feel that as the season goes, you kind of get a little better. And if this offensive line get better and he stays healthy, he's going to be amazing. But
Yeah.
that backwards hurdle. I mean, how much more can you be surprised to see a player do that, man? If he had caught him wrong,
Yeah.
if that defensive player had went a little higher, it
Let's
would have.
let's 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 watch it one more time, just so for the people. We'll watch it one more time. That's
That's crazy.
crazy. You know,
So
it
let me go ahead. Go ahead, Eric.
no, go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
So let me ask you. I got two questions for you guys. Since we all played for the Eagles, number one, which jerseys do you prefer? That green, what they call that one, Kelly green,
Kelly Green, yeah.
Kelly Green.
and then the
Well, that's
other
all I
green.
wore.
That's all you
I
wore.
only
Okay.
wore the
All
Kelly
right.
Green. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Mike
Well,
and I only wore the darker green, the
The
midnight
darker
green.
all right. So
green.
Yeah.
I guess that answers that question. Number two.
Well, no,
But
I,
you
I
guys,
Now,
like
you
I
guys
like
never.
I
I'm
like
sorry.
the Kelly
You like the
Green.
Kelly?
They
Yeah.
changed
Yeah,
the
yeah,
year that I went was my first year in Philly. Your first was your year in Philly, Mike. My
yeah.
first year was it my
No,
second year in Philly. You
90.
came.
That was your
I
second
think
year
it's
Okay,
when it came.
so my first year in Philly was the year they went to the darker green.
yeah.
Okay.
They moved
Okay.
from the Kelly
Yeah.
green, so I never wore the Kelly
That's
green,
right.
but I always liked the Kelly green and the gray. I thought that was pretty
Yeah.
pretty
Okay.
Yeah.
ballsy.
So here's my question for you before I get to my surprise. You saw the play from Saquon Barkley.
Hmm.
Which
Yeah.
do you think is better, the play, of the year at this point? The one-hand catch by Wilson or Saquon jumping backwards over the defender?
Oh, Saquon, in my opinion.
Okay.
I mean, it was a
Eric?
great catch by Wilson, but let me tell you something. Of course, when you have to look at the situation in which, of course, you're in a game. But if you put all three of us in that situation with Garrett Wilson, we probably could have made that catch. I mean, I've seen Irv catch ball. I've seen Mike catch ball. There have been times when in
I wasn't
practice,
trying to catch no
whatever,
balls
I
with
was.
one hand. I was trying to catch them with two just to catch it. So
All right, well you dismissed. I've seen Irv catch balls with one hand, but when we comparing those two plays, I mean
you,
that first spin before Barkley jumps was just as dynamic as that jump, and understanding the timing of that and seeing where that player was and to go over his head like that was just amazing. I
so
wouldn't compare that at all.
your answer is that one. Okay. What about you, Irv?
Barkley. Yeah, I would.
Well, I agree with Fred for different reasons. The catch, you're a wide receiver, you're running down the field, and the ball's in the air, and you battle the DB for the ball. And sometimes, not purposefully, I think even the one-handed catches, when we make those one-handed catches, they're instinctively. They're done instinctively.
Yes.
We jump
Yeah.
and get to the ball. That's all. But it's really just one mindset, so to speak, if I can say it that way. I believe the run by Barkley was just super dynamic. Why? Because there are many more elements involved. He had people all
It's not
around
natural.
him.
Period.
It's not natural. It's people all around. And I believe, he made the first guy, when he caught the ball, the first guy he made miss was a regular move. He moved to the inside, made him miss. Then he stepped at the second guy and gave him a little wiggle and spun away from him. And I believe he was getting ready to try to spin again, but didn't quite feel that he was able to get that second spin done to make the cat that he jumped over to make him miss, and just instinctively jumped up in the air.
Yeah.
And it happened to work. It was crazy the way it would happen, but because he was dealing with so many other elements around him, and there were so many other things, not so much to think about, but instinctively that he did, back to back to back. There were 3 instinctive moves that he made back to back to back. It wasn't just jumping up in the air and throwing my hand up and catching the ball. So to me, that was and should be, man, I've never seen anything like that. I played more NFL games than any other person who's come out of the state of New Jersey. I have the record. And in my tenure in the NFL, I've never seen anything even close to that. I've seen Barry Sanders run the ball, and I've seen some great stuff from Barry Sanders up close and live. I've seen Walter Payton run the ball. Walter Payton did some crazy stuff up close and live.
Crazy.
But he ain't do that. None of them did nothing like that. None of them did nothing like
Crazy.
that. That was just, the Giants feel like idiots right now. That's all I know.
All right. Let me give you guys my surprise.
He was my surprise too. That was my surprise too.
No, that was not my surprise. I was just asking you guys the question.
No, but he was my surprise.
No.
Saquon was my surprise. Yeah, he was my surprise too.
All right. Did you get it all out? You want to just take this time to give me your surprise? Or you good?
I got it all out. That's why I said what I said, so I can get it all out. It says it by itself. I showed it in the film. It speaks for itself.
So here's my surprise, which is a surprise to you guys because you wouldn't even think that I was going to say this. The Houston Texans and specifically CJ Stroud. Here's why. This past game that he played against the Jets, he looked like a rookie to me. And I was talking to somebody about that. I hadn't seen him play like that. And I was kind of surprised because because of his play, we've kind of anointed him since he had such a great rookie year. But he didn't play well at all. And he just had a look about him that said to me, this guy's like playing like a rookie. So here's the thing. Last 3 losses that they've had to Minnesota, he's had two INTs. Green Bay, He threw for only 86 yards. And in the Jets, he was 11 for 30 for 191 yards. Yes, they're 6-3. But I know, just like you guys do, he's missing two of his weapons, Diggs and Nico Collins. They're out. But I can't give him a pass on that, only because of his play has kind of elevated him. Now, if you look at someone like Josh Allen, Buffalo Bills, no Diggs, excuse me, he lost Diggs and he lost what's the number 13, his other that was on the other side.
I know you're talking about
Gabe. He lost both of those guys, but they're balling. So I can't give him a pass to say he doesn't have weapons, because I just gave you an example. Josh Allen's still getting it done. Right. So I'm looking for him to elevate to that second tier. But when I saw him against the Jets, so I'll end with this. They host Detroit this Sunday night. So I'm really looking to see, is he who we thought he is? And so he's my surprise how he's played recently. And so I want to see whether or not he's top tier or not.
You know what, Mike? That's what makes Lamar Jackson so great. That's what makes Lamar Jackson so special, because a lot of these quarterbacks that come into the league that make plays with their legs and are just, they come in their rookie years, they have decent years, and then they kind of level off the next year or so, because obviously defensive coordinators have had an opportunity to watch them and to plan against them. Yeah. But for the most part, that leveling off comes because they're not the passer quarterback that they need to be special in this league. Patrick Mahomes is a special passer. He throws the ball. Yeah. He can throw the ball through the eye of a needle. Lamar Jackson, I didn't realize how great Lamar Jackson is in throwing the ball. Yeah. He can really, he can put the ball wherever he wants to. He's got a crazy looking release and stuff, but he's a NFL top level passer of the football. And that's what begins to separate some of these particularly quarterbacks who come into the league, and particularly African-American quarterbacks who come into the league and, they run around all over the place and they throw the ball all over the place the first year or so, and then things start leveling off for them, or things start declining for them because they don't improve in their passing. They don't improve in their defense recognition. They don't improve in their, in terms of the route combination in the sequence in which they're supposed to advance, from one receiver to the next. They don't improve in that area. And if they don't improve in that area and the defensive coordinators have their number, they're never going to get better. They're never going to excel. They're never going to be that great asset for the team that they were drafted to be.
And what else? Another point that's interesting too, and a lot of fans don't realize this. Even though you have the ability, that there are things that happen during the season that can tilt you mentally. So sometimes, especially from a quarterback standpoint, when you got your two guys out, you need to still have the same mindset that you can do what you did the years before. And of course, I'm not putting anything in CJ Stroud's head, but there could be a situation where he's saying, "Oh, my two guys is out. I still got Tank Dell. We're probably not going to do as much. We're not going to be as dynamic, but you still got to have that mental capacity to say, hey, look, my guys are out. As long as I got weapons on the field, I need to continue to do what I was doing the years before that the year that I'm playing for the AFC, to play for the AFC Championship. So there is a mental part of the game as well.
Ben Straight says C.J. Stroud was 3 years old when Aaron Rodgers started in the NFL. Yeah.
Well, we're going to find out Sunday night against Detroit, because Detroit's going to come after him.
Yes.
They're at home, so we'll see with a real C.J. Stroud stand. Please stand up. Just the sophomore. That second year, sometimes there's, like you said, some leveling off. So we'll see.
Richard Melton is in the house. Richard, what's going on, man? Buffalo beat Miami last week?
Yeah, they skated
on the field goal.
They kicked the field goal to win it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Buffalo. Way to go, Buffalo. Is Buffalo going to win anything this year? Richard, is Buffalo going to win anything this year? Or they just going to be the same old shuffle off to Buffalo?
Let's go, Buffalo.
Let's go, Buffalo. What's your news? We got news of the week. What's going on around the league? We're not going to talk. I almost said it. I'm not going to do that. I almost said something about politics. I'm not going to do it.
No, we don't talk.
What's going on around the league? What's happening around the league? Somebody else start talking. I need to shut up right now.
So,
Mike.
So here's one that is going to make you scratch your head when you're talking about around the NFL. And since we're wideouts, we talk about wideouts a little bit more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So here's one that had me scratching my head. Trade deadline is Tuesday.
It was yesterday.
I'm sorry, excuse me. Yes, yesterday.
It was yesterday, yeah.
Jonathan Mingo, wide receiver, the Panthers to the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's my question.
Why?
I want to go to Jerry.
Why? Yeah.
What are you doing?
I've been trying to wrap my mind.
Can we do that?
I just think he wanted to get into the sweepstakes that he did something because he's taking a lot of heat for not
doing something.
Henry, for not doing something, not taking Derrick Henry, being in the backyard, that type of thing, and so and they're losing. What would make him think that this is going to satisfy anyone? Jonathan Mingo.
Plus, after they didn't do anything all off season.
They
made no moves. Made no moves during the off season.
Second year wide receiver from Ole Miss.
Ole Miss.
2 years, he's had 24 catches for 539 yards. That's it. And so this year, do you? Well, I should take that back. His best year was his first year when he had 43 receptions. You know how many times he was targeted? 85. So 50% of his passes, something went awry.
Something happened.
Yeah.
So it's not a big production receiver, and they're trading for him. I'm saying, like, why? So anyway,
his explanation is probably because CeeDee Lamb is jacked. But you can't. I mean, you're not replacing CeeDee Lamb. But he probably is saying we need two legs in that position to come in because we got CeeDee Lamb down, and we got to whoever his backups are going to be playing. So we need somebody. He may be bringing somebody off of special teams, and now they're going to be playing wide receiver more than they were before as a second or third guy. They'll be the second or first guy. I'm trying to figure it out. But, if I throw enough stuff out there, something may stick on the wall. Okay. But really, here's what we need to do. That's for Jerry.
That's my news. That's my news from the NFL. That was kind of shocking for me.
Go ahead. Fred.
I got two bullet points. The Commanders signing Marshawn Lattimore.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy,
that's a great move.
That's a great move, man. And when I look at their season, I keep thinking that maybe they haven't played any a powerful offense or a powerful team that's across the board. There's been 3 times that they gave up 30 points. They gave 37 to Tampa Bay, and they lost that game. They gave up 30 to Baltimore. They lost that game, but they gave up 33 to Cincinnati, but they won that game. And I say that to say that Lattimore is really – he's not – I don't think he's necessarily going to solidify, but he is going to be a big help on that corner, man. And it could be the thing that the Eagles don't want, because I feel like at this point it's going to be them or the Eagles for the NFC East. And Irv, you just mentioned that that the showdown is next week, next Thursday, not this Thursday, but next Thursday. So hopefully both of them will win, and that'll be a very, very, very big game. My next,
you got another one? That's right. You did say you had 2. Okay,
it's a bullet point.
A bullet point.
So that was pretty quick.
For you, yeah.
Someone
for you, it was quick.
we caught Dak Prescott saying that they effing suck. I don't, did y'all
He
see
said,
that?
I didn't catch that. No,
I
I didn't.
didn't.
He
I
said
didn't
that.
see. Yeah, he did. Well, they saw him. They caught him on the
They
sideline.
caught him saying I don't remember what play it was, but he
Really?
plainly said we suck.
Oh
And
wow.
Well,
that I agree. I agree.
like I
And you
say,
know
he was
what?
telling the truth.
He's telling the truth. You know, somebody said when he got hurt, he came off the side. He came to the sideline, threw his helmet, and somebody intercepted it. So is everybody's intercepted?
Wow.
Well,
Wow.
Everybody's intercepted.
last year he was throwing interceptions in his commercials too.
Oh gee.
He threw an interception to one of the ladies in his
To the
commercial.
girls, the
Yeah, to the
ladies,
girl.
yeah.
Yeah, he threw an interception in his commercial.
But I mean, they lost to the Falcons. I mean, the Falcons is no pushover. I mean,
No,
so
they're
he
not.
lost to. They're not a pushover. So it's not like they
Yeah, but
stink.
they just been playing bad though. They just been,
And
even
at
when
this
they've had
point,
a
all you have
chance
to
to
do
win,
is be
they find a way
competitive.
to lose.
If you're competitive against the Cowboys, you're gonna win the game.
Yeah.
So,
You're gonna win the game.
so for me, my news of the week is actually we keep stepping on each other's toes. My news of the week is also Marshawn Lattimore. He adds to the Commanders what they need in that secondary because I believe they realize, right now they're at the top of the NFC East and the Eagles are right behind them, and they're headed for a head-on collision next week. Prayerfully, both teams will win this weekend, and it will be a great game. That'll be the game of the week next
Yeah.
week. But check this out: when they got Lattimore, and listen, there were other people that wanted him. There were other people or other teams, I should say, that were interested in him because he's the guy. Now, one of the issues is that is his health because he hasn't played a full season since 2021. So he's got to remain healthy. And sometimes a move like that will assist you in that. Keep you positive, your mind positive, and obviously your mind and your body are closely connected. But
Of course.
when the Commanders acquired Lattimore, they traded for him for a third round, fourth round, and sixth round pick, and they got him and a fifth round pick for next year. So they gave up a third round, a fourth round, and a sixth round pick. Well, the third round pick that they gave up was the third round pick that the Eagles gave them to acquire Jahan Dotson. So Jahan Dotson showed up this week for the first time this season, made a big, crazy acrobatic
Big catch,
catch
yeah.
at a crucial time in the game. So he showed up. Hopefully that's going to be what he needs, the very thing that he needs to, feel like he's a part of the team, feel like he belongs, and that he can, add to what they're already doing. But it would be kind of ironic, wouldn't it be, if Lattimore plays a big part or plays a part or does something significant and in that game versus the Eagles, and is part of the reason why the Commanders beat the Eagles if that happens? Wouldn't that be ironic if they used
Very much so.
the third round pick that the Eagles gave them to acquire him? So I thought that was pretty interesting. Something that most people might not know, and I thought that would be worth mentioning.
Very interesting.
You only get it here on Wild House World, y'all. You only get it here on Wild House. We give it to you straight. Give it to you straight, no chaser. Straight, no chaser. Ben, let me see. Hope Wiley, my sister's in the house.
Right.
Bob Hilberg. What's going on, Bob? What's going on? Bob, Benny Capriati's in the house. Richard Melton still here. Ben Straight. Eddie Casper. Mama still here. Billy Bell. William Lenny Smith Sankofa. What's going on, Lenny? Good to see you, bro. Earlene Barnett is in the house. She's here. Ed Crawley is watching right now. What's going on, Brother Crawley? Shout out to you.
Mama?
Paul Holtz is in the house. Angelo
Memphis.
D. Ortiz. Shout out to you, my brother. So let's talk about
Memphis.
what we have coming up next, and that is our game of the week. Our game of the week this week is Sunday. I believe it's a 1:00 game. Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Washington Commanders. Pittsburgh goes to Washington. That is our game of the week this week. Mike, you want to start out and give your little analysis, give your analysis and then your opinion, or I should say your pick, your prediction for this week. Pittsburgh versus
just
the
make sure
Commanders.
this is not a pick, all right? We just
Say what?
This is not one of our picks.
No, this is just the game.
This is just the game of the week. Yeah, just the game of the week.
Okay. Yeah,
So I believe Washington has been, just like you had talked about a little bit, Irv, they're building themselves for games such as this. I believe they're waiting for an opportunity to establish themselves, at least for this year, that they are the team to beat. Pittsburgh's won their last three. Washington has won their last three. But here's the thing for me, Russell is still trying to find his groove with that offense.
But he's doing a pretty good job. He's doing a pretty good job.
But against the Jets, when he first started, 55% of his passes. The Giants, now he came back a little bit better, but again, that's the Giants. He threw 71% of his passes. True. And so I'm not so sure that he is going to find that groove at Washington at home. They're going to be fired up. Mm-hmm. And this is not the time for him to find out. Washington, I like their linebacking core led by Wagner. I like that. The addition of Lattimore, I like that. And I think the difference in this game is the legs of Jaden Daniels. I think that's going to be the difference. So I'm going with Washington for sure for this one.
Fred, it's the game of the week. Listen, all you bettors, all of you gamblers, pay attention. If you're betting on games and you're gambling on games, we don't necessarily give you point spreads. We don't give you the plus or the minus or all that kind of stuff. We just straight up and tell you who's going to win. You can today. You can bet on anything. You can send a bet in when they get ready to kick a field goal, good or not good, and make money or lose money. It's crazy.
Who gonna cough? I think this is going to be a very exciting game. We got the 6-2 Pittsburgh going into Washington. The Commanders are 7-2. Mike, you made some very good points, some interesting points. The interesting thing about Russell Wilson, I was a little skeptical about him, especially after he didn't start. And I figured that first start and second game and maybe even during the season that he wasn't really going to be what we thought he was going to be. But you know what? It's really a testament to the system that you play in, because I was basing that on what he did in Denver. I was basing that on his relationship with his coach in Denver, which is a totally different relationship with Tomlin in Pittsburgh. So I think they're going to have once again a winning season, because that's just what Tomlin does. From Washington's standpoint, they're playing with a lot of energy. I mean, when I look at their offense, it's a pretty good offense. Their third in offense, total offense, with averaging 392 yards. They're third in rushing. They average 63 yards rushing. Daniels has thrown close to 2,000 yards. He averaged 238 yards passing. He has 9 touchdowns. And from a defensive standpoint, Washington is 10th in sacks. And I think defensively they're okay. From a Pittsburgh standpoint, I see them more. If you had to have a most valuable unit, whereas a defense and offense, I would put Pittsburgh defense as a most valuable unit. They're right now number 9 in total defense, third in turnovers. They're plus 10 turnovers. They've had 15 takeaways, 10 interceptions, 9 fumbles, only one interception offensively, and 4 fumbles offensively. They are 8th in rushing with 138 yard rushing. And when you look at these numbers, it's really about who's going to show up to play. And for me, and when I think about Daniels, and when I think about him, I see a little Jackson in him, and that if he has to run the ball, he's going to be dynamic running the ball. If he has to hang there in the pocket and get the ball down the field, he's going to do that as well. And I see Washington pulling this out in the close one.
And to your point, I tell you what, Russell Wilson better not be throwing those moon balls in this game. He start throwing them moon balls, they're gonna get picked off.
Moon pies.
You know what, Mike? I have to agree with you because, but first of all, let me say this, Fred. The Commanders' defense, they're doing it. The reason they have the record they have right now, 7-2, they're doing it mostly with offense. They're outscoring their opponents because the Commanders' run defense, first of all, they're 32nd or 30th, I should say, in yards
Allowed.
yards per game allowed. 5.1 yards per attempt, and with running backs, it's 5.2. That's quarterbacks, running backs 5.1, running backs is 5.2. And with running backs, they're 32nd in the league. And their pass defense is 28th in QB rating allowed and 25th in completion percentage. So the Commanders are getting it done. They're winning games 7-2, mostly because of their offense, because the defense is not functioning at a high level. Their offense is fourth in points scored per game, 29.2, and third in yards per game, and fourth on third downs. The Steelers' defense is second in terms of giving up points per game in the league, and they're 11th on third down. So this is going to come down to whether or not the Commanders can score points on Pittsburgh's defense and whether or not Russell Wilson has settled in enough to be able to generate some points against a defense that's not very good. Not very good running the ball and not very good defending the pass. Now, the good thing that's going for Russell Wilson is the fact that Najee Harris has been running crazy. He's got 100 plus yards the last 3 games, and he's averaging all season long just over 75 yards a game for the whole season. Yeah. But the last 3 games, he's run for over 100 yards. So if they can control the ball with Najee, which they can against this team, as long as they stay healthy and things go well, they can control the game on the ground, and Russell doesn't need to be the hero and do anything crazy or force anything through the air. Then I believe Pittsburgh can go in, and Tomlin does this, man. Tomlin goes away in games like this. This is where Tomlin shines, where he's able to get his team to operate and function and believe at a level where they can go into enemy territory like a team like this that's playing well, the Commanders, and go in there and not steal a win, but go in there and take a win and win decisively. So I would say right now, the way things are going in Pittsburgh, they're on an ascension. They're getting it together. They don't have it together, but they're getting it together. I'm going with Pittsburgh.
Okay.
So
I'm going with Pittsburgh.
Let's just circle back to last week when I talked about the Washington Commanders. That they really hadn't played anybody. Mm-hmm. And as you mentioned, and you're correct, you are absolutely correct when you say the offense has been driving this team in terms of wins. They're putting a lot of points on the board. They really hadn't played a solid defense. So basically,
the teams that they lost to, Ravens. I think it was week 6 they lost to the Ravens, and then week 1 when Tampa Bay came out of the gate just blazing.
So what I'm saying is that if they happen to run into a team that's a solid defense,
that's
and
Pittsburgh.
they only score, which was my point. They only scored 17-21. They're gonna get beat. They probably get beat.
Well, they're averaging 28.
They'll probably get beat.
They're averaging 28 points. Yeah. They score an average of 28 points a game.
Yeah. But
okay.
They still,
but they can't stop anybody. And Tomlin is smart enough to know that if they can't stop the running game, then he can control the game on the ground.
Yeah, and then Pittsburgh is 8th in rushing, averaging 130, 138 rushing.
There you go.
138 yard rushing. Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
All right. So, Irv, who's your pick?
I said Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Yeah, Pittsburgh.
All right.
I'm going with Pittsburgh. Are we using the game of the week as one of our picks?
No. I was just
No?
writing it down just so I could talk crap when I win. That's all.
Oh, so
But
you're the only one to pick the Commanders?
No,
I picked the
Fred
Commanders.
did. Fred did as well.
Okay.
I felt that Jaden was Daniels is a two-way
Now-
street, and that
now let me-
he could run and throw the ball. Go ahead.
Let me say this because I picked the Pittsburgh Steelers because I want my my football IQ and prowess to be acknowledged. But the truth of the matter, I don't think they will, but I want the Commanders to win. Why?
You can't do that.
No.
You can't do that.
No, let me say why. I want the Commanders to win because I want the Eagles to win so that next week that game is going to be huge. So that game is
But you
huge.
think-
But I
but
don't
you
think
think
the Commanders are going to
Pittsburgh
win. Yeah, I don't think they're going to win.
Gotcha. Okay.
Gotcha.
It'd be better if they do win for next week.
Yeah, for next week. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we have
That's it.
we got a few more minutes left. We got our picks Thursday night, Sunday night, and Monday night. So just a quick. Well, you want to go? I'm gonna let Mike go first. I'm gonna let Mike go first
quick, Mike.
because that way, Mike, you can give us our results thus far
I will-
with our picks.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Oh, I think.
Last week, Irv. Right. You were 3-0 last week, Irv.
All right.
On your pick. You were 3-0. Fred and I were 2-1. So that brings
That was
your
that
total-
that was that Jets game. Yeah,
That's what it was.
Jets. I text y'all Jets, Jets.
you picked the doggone Jets, boy. So you and Fred are tied at 18 wins and 12 losses. I'm bringing up the rear at 17 wins and 13 losses.
Boy, what a difference a day makes, huh?
Yeah, man. Yeah. So that's
to
where we are.
to all the fans out there, you see how consistent we are. Look out. And then
All
right
right.
at the end, you're gonna see me just pull off.
Yeah,
off
okay.
with everybody.
All right, so my picks for these hot games that we have Thursday night, Cincy at the Ravens. Hey, I'm going with the Ravens. That one's pretty easy for me.
Okay.
Cincinnati, they beat Las Vegas last week, and who fired all their coaches. So you're not hitting on anything, Cincinnati. I'm going to go with the Ravens. The Sunday night. Now we have two games on Sunday.
Oh, we do.
They're going across the pond. New York Giants against Carolina.
We got two games on Sunday.
Yes, sir.
Sunday night.
Sunday
No.
morning, and then they have one Sunday night.
No, we only do the night game. We only predict the
We
night
do the night
game.
game.
When you
Okay.
please stop picking the morning game.
Mike.
What are you doing?
You know what? That's not true because we did that.
We
when
didn't
they
do no
had the
morning game. We
Yeah,
didn't do
we
no
did.
morning game.
Anyway.
We didn't do no
Moving-
morning games.
Moving right along.
Pick the night games. You pick the night
Here's the-
games. Stay
Okay.
in the
Mike,
night.
Irv,
Irv, he got
The
it.
heat of the
Irv,
night.
Irv, he got it.
Will you hush so I can do it? Listen. All right. So Detroit, the Sunday night game, Detroit at Houston. It's easy for me. Detroit is my pick there. Going to Houston and getting the W. Monday night game, Miami at the Rams. I'm gonna go with Miami. I think the Miami Tua played well last week. I mean, he missed just a few passes, and he played well enough for them to win at Buffalo. So I think that he will start playing a little bit better at the Rams. They'll get Tyreek involved more because right now he's ghost. So going to the Rams, I'm picking Miami.
Waddle caught 4 balls. He had 4 targets, caught 4 balls last week for -2 yards.
Yeah, something's good.
That's
I mean,
crazy.
it's taking him a while to get back on
Yeah,
track. man.
four targets. He
They gonna
caught
get back
4
on track.
balls. How you catch 4 balls for -2 yards? That's crazy.
I don't know.
Running back. He must be running backwards, catching it running backwards. Go ahead, Fred.
Well,
All right, we got 4-5 Cincy at 6-3 Baltimore. I think this is pretty. We just know Baltimore is just going to win this game. I don't know if they'll win it big, but I think it'll be a shocker. if Cincy pulled this one off. But
They
I
got
get at
shocked too.
Baltimore.
Look, the Ravens got shocked 2 weeks ago with the Browns.
With the Browns, that's true. 7-1 Detroit, 6-3 Houston. As you said, Mike, I think this will possibly be a test game for C.J. Stroud. But here's the deal, C.J. You probably pass the test, but you'll make like a 71. You're not gonna make like an 8. You're not gonna make a 90, 95, and nothing like that. But Detroit is too scary right now. They just doing they're clicking on all cylinders, and they're probably one of the top two teams in my opinion in the league right now. Miami, who should have won that game against Buffalo, going to L.A. I see Tua having a pretty good game. I see the Cheetah back in stride, and I think Miami's going to pull that one off.
All right, I think we're all going to be the same because I'm going with the Ravens. No reason not to. I can't see the Bengals going into Baltimore and beating the Ravens, particularly that loss to the Browns is still fresh in their minds, although they 41 points. Bengals scored 41 points last week, so did the Ravens. But and one of the times the Ravens scored 41 points was October 6th against the Bengals earlier this year. So that was in Cincinnati.
After that Browns game, we said that they're going to score 40 points this week, and they did.
Mm-hmm. Scored 41. So I'm going with the Ravens. Obviously, I'm going with the Lions. Listen, Goff, the last 2 weeks, Goff hasn't thrown. He's thrown for less than 150 yards the last 2 weeks because he does not have to throw the ball like that. They've got a two-headed monster running that ball, Gibbs and Montgomery, and that's how they're playing old school smash mouth football. And that's what makes them so dangerous. They're a physical team. Their defense gets it done. And, man, Goff is very efficient when he does throw the football. But he doesn't have to throw the football that much because they're getting it done on the ground. Lions will defeat the Texans. And then I'm going with the Dolphins. It's tough flying across the country and winning a game, but it's tougher going from the west to the east than it is going from the east to the west.
Says who?
Says me. I just said it. I just said it. Didn't I just say it? Who said that? Was that me or somebody else?
That worked.
Didn't I just say that? I'm talking about me. For me, it was harder going that way than I think it is coming back this way. Why? Because you gain time that way. You lose time this way.
Okay.
Right. So it's for you. It was for him, Mike.
It's for me. My opinion matters because I played 17 years.
It works.
That's
it
true.
works.
Yeah,
that's true.
And you,
at least
in
my
all
opinion
those 17 years, you were on a lot of planes. You got a lot of miles.
I was on a lot of planes. Listen, that's why I don't do that much flying right now because it's too much flying I did in 17 years. But my opinion matters on this show. It may not matter when I walk out the door, but it matters on this show.
I was really asking just to get educated to why you were saying that. That's all.
I
really wanted to know.
He thought you was
well, because like I said, you gain time going the other way and you lose time coming back this way.
He was dropping knowledge, Fred. I was just trying to pick up a piece. Yeah. Okay,
but I agree with you, Mike. I think, based on what happened last week with Tua, coming in and trying to get things together, he and his receivers, they're getting on the same page. I think this week is the week that they, how last year they erupted. There were games where they just blew up and just, big scores. I think this is going to be one of those games.
Hey, you know what was crazy? I saw him do a play, and he was going and dove head first again.
Lord Jesus. He's trying to kill himself, huh? You think he's crazy. But you know what? I thought, and Fred, I'm going to tell you a story. When I was, because if it were me, you know this, Mike, I'd be playing too. If I got hurt, because Mike, I got hurt when I was playing for Washington, playing with the Eagles. I had that, my spine went into convulsions, and I ended up in the hospital, and I was in the bed. Fred, I'm laying in the bed. I'm down in my bedroom at home down in Washington, and I feel this tickle on me. Tickle. I'm like, leave me alone. I thought it was my wife. Leave me alone. This doggone Mike he had flown in from Florida because he was worried about me, and he came in.
No.
He came in and he said to me in that conversation that day when he came in to make sure I was all right, because I went out in an ambulance. He came in and he said to me, he said, "Man, don't you think you need this time to hang it up?" And guess what I said? No. And I was hurt at the time. I was laying in the bed and could barely move. And I said, no. Matter of fact, it's revenge time is what it is. It's revenge time. I got to get some get back because it ain't ending like this. Oh, heck no. And so
they don't make them like that no more, boss.
well, but Tua is doing the same thing. I can't condemn him. I can't speak negative in his decision to come back and play. You know, many people were saying maybe he needs to get a second opinion. Maybe he needs to, sit down.
I mean, he's made the decision. I'm okay.
Well, stop
with
diving
that.
head first. Yeah, you got to stop diving head first. He shouldn't be doing that anyway as a quarterback. Slide, because you got to stay in the game.
I got one question, Irv. You got 15 million in the bank. You getting out of that bed?
It ain't got nothing to do with the money.
I just
it had nothing. I had money in the bank back then. I ain't had that much in the bank, but I had money in the bank back then. But it didn't have anything to do with money. It had all to do with the desire inside of me as a man, as a football player, as an athlete, as a competitor.
Okay.
Yeah. So I can't fault him because I probably would have said the same thing. John Ingracia, what's going on? Richard Melton's in the house. Eddie Casper, I thought you left. Eddie Casper. Florence Oakman is in the house, all the way from the state of Washington. Listen, Ben Strait has a question. You all are elite as evidenced by multiple generations knowing your names and looking up to you. Then he says, how would you adjust as you walk on the field in today's game versus when you played? Sticky gloves for relievers and receivers and defenders, so much more research before games, faster, etc. If you were 24, what do you guys do differently to stay elite in today's game?
Well, that's a heavy
who wants to answer that question first? Great question.
Well, first of all,
Ben.
When every played in the league, it was my ambition to outwork everybody. You know, I lift, I ran. I'm always running gases. I'm always trying to put myself above everybody, and that was not me being conceited. It was me being the one who outworked everybody. I was that guy. And when I look at today's players and today's situation, today's organization, on how many things that they're considering in terms of the Players Association, the limited time that they can practice. I think they probably even mandated that they have to have a DJ at a couple of practices. I'm going in there with DJ, but there were times when we had easy days when, and I'm not going to call a name, but there were defensive backs that looked at me and was like, "Hey, slow down. This is, it's an easy day." And I'm like, I don't think like that. I'm always working.
Mm-hmm.
So I say that to say, for me, I felt like I would be successful in this league because this league today, because the way that the tempo, the mindset that they have. And I was just totally different. And for me, it wasn't easy getting to the league. But once I got there, I did not want to let it go. And I did not want to do something. I didn't want to be responsible for me leaving unless there was a situation there.
Well, this was quick. I got a quick answer for you. Think Mike Tyson. You see Mike Tyson training now to fight this young kid, Jake Paul or whatever his name is. It's the mindset. The mindset doesn't change. So I think we all would adapt and get to work, just like Mike Tyson's doing. So that's how I think we would approach it.
Well, they do, in my opinion, they do less. I don't know what they do during the off season. I think there's different ways of working out now, position-specific workouts and things like that. I think we focused on some of that, Mike, when we worked out during the off season when we were playing together. I don't know. My mindset, when I first came into the league, and most of my time in the league, my mindset was different as a receiver. And Mike will will vouch for this, or he can nod his head, because I didn't care really about catching balls. I just wanted to knock somebody out. That's all I wanted to do. I wanted to hit somebody. That's what I was taught when I was in college. I used to put a piece of tape on my face mask as a sight, and use it as a sight. And I would tell my teammates, if I could get that guy in this sight, I'm gonna kill him.
Well, I'm telling you.
And that's what football was to me. So I don't know if I could play in today's game. I don't know how to play it the way they play it. I played
you'd probably
it.
be fine.
I would be fine. I would be. Listen. I played football.
Number 80s ejected.
Meaning, when you come out, listen. I used every play as an opportunity to set myself up for a pass play. Meaning, even if the ball's being run to the other side of the field, I'm split out on the left, the ball's being run to the right, I'm hitting that DB that's in front of me. Because I want him to know every play, either you're going to get hit or I'm running a route. And when I come off the ball, I'm coming off the ball the same way. I'm coming off hard, coming off fast, and you got to figure out what it's going to be for this play.
This time.
I don't care if we're going the other way to the opposite side of the field. You're going to have to deal with me. And that's the way I played the game. And they don't play the game like that today.
No.
But you know what? When I'm running down the field and I hit him, the next time I run down the field, he's thinking I'm going to hit him. I run by him. But you set yourself up to be successful just by being physical. And that's not the way the game is played today. So to answer your question, Ben, I guess I would be successful because I wouldn't be getting hit, but I'd probably be losing a whole lot of money because I'd be hitting people. I crack back blocks. I tell running backs or receivers, I told a receiver, listen, when you catch the ball, run my way, because whoever's chasing you is getting it. Pow! You got to deal with who you got in front of you, but whoever's chasing you is not going to catch you, because I'm going to knock the tar out of them.
Okay, come back, Irv. Come back, Irv.
Yeah, I know. I was going somewhere, wasn't I? I'm sorry. Jesus. That's how I played. Look, Mike knows. But listen, thanks for the question. How do you feel about the arrangements in current football NFL players, CTE? Is the league doing anything other than rules to help? They ain't doing nothing. No, they're not doing a thing. No. I know some guys that are in trouble with CTE. Their speech is slurred. They can't go out of the door or out of the house without getting lost. I know a guy that I have to take to his to his doctor visits. I have to take him because he can't get there. I'm not going to mention any names, but I have to take him. He's a friend of mine. Yeah. He's dealing with CTE, and it's sad. And the league is not doing anything. They don't give us any insurance. We have some kind of medical coverage, but it's like a $50,000 blanket, but you got to spend the money first and then give them, the invoices, then they give you the money back.
Reimbursement.
It's a reimbursement program, yeah. So that's nothing. That's really nothing. When I feel they could be, and even I think the league should do this for us, fellas. And we're gonna go off after this. I've had some insurance now I've been paying for more than 20 years on an insurance policy. I got a notice the other day. They said in 2 years that my premium is going to go up significantly.
Insurance.
And I'm thinking to myself,
insurance.
Life insurance. And I'm thinking to myself, well, when I get older, as people get older, they make less money. Why are you going to take this premium? They're doing the same thing to my mama. Why do you take my premium and you raise it up? Because they want you to not be able to pay it, so they don't have to pay anything because they know you're getting older. And I believe the NFL should do something for us, not give us anything, but allow us to buy some kind of insurance, life insurance, that doesn't increase on us as we get older.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because insurance companies are crooks. They're robbing people. They're doing it. They're strong-arming older folk because older folk are on a fixed income, and they're increasing their rates dramatically. You get in your 70s and your 80s, and you've been paying on a policy for 20 years, and all of a sudden you can't afford it. Why? Because they double the rate. That makes no sense at all. Yeah. I've invested in your company for 20 years. Never been late. Always been on time.
Well, our healthcare system has been raggedy for a long time.
It's just they're crooks. They're crooks. Treat people wrong. Anyway, We're about to be out of here, y'all. It's Wild Outs. Let me shout out Joseph Casaretto. NFL should do more. They should, yeah. Good to see you, but Billy Bell, Florence Oakman, shout out to you. Eddie Casper, Richard Melton is in the house. John Ingracia is in the house. Ben Strait, thank you, brother, for the question. Hope Wiley, Bob Hilberg. I said Billy Bell, Vincent Capriati. I'm repeating names. Eddie Casper. There's some more up top here. My mama. William Lenny Smith Sankofa. Erlene Barnett. I'm sorry. Ed Crawley.
Yeah, that's
Paul Holst. And Angelo D. Ortiz. Y'all gonna shout out to the people?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Howdy.
You got the name. What's up?
So listen.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah. That's our show for today. Listen, if you're watching on Facebook, which some of you are, please go over to YouTube, hit the magnifying glass, search for Wide Outs World. That's Wide Outs World. And please subscribe. All right? We'll see y'all next week.
Let them know on Instagram. We started an Instagram page. They can find us on Instagram, and they can follow us there as well.
You can, and please do follow us on Instagram. We have an Instagram page now. We're moving on up. Jefferson's. We moving on up. I'm gonna have to put the Instagram logo up there when we're live. Put it inside right there in the sky, amongst the stars.
There you go.
We'll see y'all next week here on White House World. I'm Irving Fryar. This is my co-host Fred Barnett, Mike Timpson right there. We'll see you next week, Tuesday. Don't miss us. We'll be back with more analysis.
No, it's Wednesday. Don't say Tuesday.
Did I say Tuesday?
Wednesday. Yes,
okay.
You said Tuesday.
I get my days mixed up, man. Plus I'm old. CTE.
He's old.
Hit the button, man. Hit the button.
We'll be back next Wednesday, 7 o'clock, right here, White House World. See y'all then. Peace.
This has been Whiteout's World.
Touchdown.
Not one, not two, but three NFL legends. Fred Barnett, Irving Fryar, and Michael Timpson. Are you freaking kidding me? If it's football talk you're looking for, I think we've got you covered. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, find us on YouTube at Wideouts World. See you next time.
Let's go. Let's go. Go.